Hi, welcome to AnimeCons TV. This week we're reporting on Gallifrey 1, the Doctor Who convention. Hey, welcome to AnimeCons TV. I'm Patrick Delahanty, and last month Svet and Caden and I went to Gallifrey 1. It's a Doctor Who convention held over President's Day weekend in Los Angeles at the LAX Marriott. So if you're flying in LAX, take the hotel shuttle, you are there. And this was their 30th year, and it's one of the premier Doctor Who conventions in the world. And every year they get a doctor and some companions and other people involved with the show. Actually, they're known for getting a lot of the others involved with production. You've got directors, writers, producers, you've got comic writers and comic artists for Doctor Who comics, you've got people who voice Daleks, you've got guest stars, and this year their featured guests, they had John Barrowman, who's Captain Jack, they had Catherine Tate, who's Donna Noble, and their doctor this year was Colin Baker, the 6th Doctor. And they were going to have the actress who played Bill, but she had to cancel, and this is the second year in a row, so that was disappointing. Hopefully they'll try again and get her back next year. Yeah, so this is my sixth time to Gallifrey 1, because I've gone before I moved to California. I came a couple times, maybe after I moved to California. Then I took a break for a couple of years, and now I've gone back for 3 years. So it's at least 5th, possibly more. And I reported on it, I think, every time I've gone. So really, what's left to say? Especially for a convention that doesn't change that much, which is kind of one of the problems with Gallifrey 1. They are very resistant to change, and it especially shows in their technical programming. If you go into main events and you watch some programming there, you'll see just some mistakes by the tech crew that really frustrate me, because I've been to a lot of conventions with amazing tech crews and I see a nice put together production, and then at Gallifrey, every event I go to in main events, there's always at least one thing that makes you go, oh. Whether it's just having the camera pointed at the wrong thing, having the screen washed out, having the wrong aspect ratio on something, there's always some technical production problem. And I understand these are volunteers, but it's just really disheartening to see this happen year after year after year. And some of it can be, they do need better equipment. And so maybe you get a better AV company. They do, and just, I don't know, maybe they need more practice with their switching for the cameras, or with people operating the cameras, or what. And this is not a dig at any particular person on staff, because I don't know anybody on staff, but they could seriously use some improvement in that area. Now, I did enjoy the main events. Like I went to John Barrowman's panel and some other main event panels. It's tough if you're in the back, because they've got one screen way up at the front. It'd be nice if they had a screen, on the other side, halfway back, for people further in the back. Maybe some better stage lighting. They don't allow video, which I've talked about in the past, and it's really frustrating because it sells out every year. So you're not hurting attendance. Let people record video. Come on. You can take still photos, but because of the lighting in the room, anytime, unless you're right up front, any photos you take, you're just going to get black and then a washed out person. And so I don't know if there's something that, they probably don't care, but I don't know if there's something that can be done with the lighting to fix that. It's also frustrating when you're in the middle of some presentation and I guess somebody leans against the lights and they start to come up, and then they go down, and then up, and anyway. Yeah, so they also don't allow video in panels, which I know some panelists have complained about because they want to record their own panel, but the convention rules say you can't do that. So you can do video in the common areas like the hallways and dealer's room, which is good because I was able to get some video in there and I can show you. But they also have they've got a lot of autographs for the guests and photo opportunities. So if there's a photo room where you can get photos with some of the bigger guests, you can get John Barrowman's photo and pose, or if you want an autograph by Catherine Tate, you sign up, get in line, and the lines move fairly fast, so you're not going to spend all day in that line, and it's also reasonably priced. Something like $40, so you're not going to be like some conventions you have to buy the VIP ticket and spend $150, which is ridiculous. You shouldn't have to do that. They also have a TARDIS set up at the back of their vendor's room, which was cool because I got to take a picture of my son holding this tiny sonic screwdriver in the TARDIS. He's the cutest doctor ever. And Gallifrey 1 has a laid-back atmosphere, so you've got guests wandering the halls and just hanging out. On Sunday of the convention, I saw John Barrowman just wandering around the vendor's room, and it was good because there weren't a bunch of handlers there like, oh, everybody keep back, keep back. He was just there, and he was just hanging out, talking to the vendor, checking out the merchandise, and he was not surrounded by tons of fans. Everybody's like, oh yeah, it's John Barrowman. And they respected his space and just treated it like a normal person. And there were a couple people going by taking a selfie with him in the background, which, all right, fine. But he wasn't like being accosted. And I have to give some props to the attendees of Gallifrey 1 for just respecting personal space and letting people be normal people. And so if you're at Gallifrey, you're at the Los Angeles Marriott, LAX Marriott, and there's not a whole lot of other dining options around there. There's an In-N-Out you could walk to, but it's kind of it's like a half-hour walk. There's a Denny's and a Jack in the Box. No, it's a Carl's Jr. Other than that, there's not a whole lot in the area. The hotel itself has a expensive steakhouse. They've got a sit-down restaurant with, a typical hotel restaurant menu. It's got burgers and stuff. And then they had another restaurant that was under renovation last year, and they were doing buffets. And this restaurant was almost always empty. Hardly anybody was eating there. And it was frustrating because the buffet, like the lunch buffet had 4 items, the dinner buffet had 5 items. And it's not like you have a big buffet with 5 main items and then there's like a salad and some appetizers. No, it's those items and that's it. It wasn't really much of a buffet at all. It's not like, oh yeah, I'll start with a salad and I'll get some of this and I'll get some of this. No, it's like, all right, you can have some sliders and a piece of chicken. And yeah, it was not good, and so that's why I think, and it was priced at $25 and $30 lunch and dinner. So people just weren't going, and I hope they just put it back to a normal menu, even if it's a limited menu. Let people pick what they want on the menu and order that, even if it's not the normal menu. Limit it, but let people pay for what they want, and that's it. Don't try to do this buffet thing. It was a bad idea. Fortunately, the convention brings in food trucks. There were 3 food trucks on Friday and Saturday, and 2 on Sunday. And they changed each day. One of the days it was Cousin's Maine lobster, and I had some New England clam chowder. It was really good. I went back and had more later. They also had Mexican and Japanese, and they rotate throughout the weekend. So if you don't like the 3 food trucks one day, next day it's something different. And they just started doing that, I think, last year, and so it's definitely good. And this year they added extra food trucks, because last year they had one less each day, and it was always packed. And they were still packed this year, but at least it was spread out a little bit more. And let's see, I mean, I've been to the convention so often, and I've reported on it every time. I'm not sure what else to mention. The cosplay was always top notch. There was an adipose that was really cool. There's Daleks all the time, and they have backdrops that you can get photos taken in front of. The costume contest is a lot of fun to watch. Unfortunately, no video. And yeah, what else? I mean, it's Gallifrey. I've talked about it before. Hopefully they can fix some of those problems they have, and yeah, I'll be back next year. Now, tickets for Gallifrey, they sell out within 24 hours. So if you want to go, you need to know when they're going on sale. Tickets for the 2020 convention go on sale Saturday, April 13th at noon Pacific. That's 3 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. UK London time. Tickets are $110, so you better like Doctor Who. $60 for teens, 12 to 16, and $30 for children ages 3 to 11. And if they're under 3, like my son, they're free. And then the hotel, they haven't announced when that will go on sale, but it'll be after, so you can get the ticket first, then try to get a hotel. Even if you don't get the main hotel, there's some that are next door or across the street. And that's a lot of money for tickets, but it's a fun convention, and the guests just mingle, and people hang out in the lobby with LobbyCon. And so yeah, we'll be going back next year and have some fun. And that's Gallifrey 1, and Doctor Who convention. They've got some other stuff that's going on besides Doctor Who, but it's mainly Doctor Who. And if you were at Gallifrey 1, we would love to hear from you, or if you have questions about Gallifrey 1, we want to hear from you. You can call our voicemail line at 762-ADEQUATE, that's 762-233-7828, or you can email us at podcast@animecons.tv. And also use those, the voicemail line and the email address to get in touch with us about anything. We are doing a feedback episode next week, so we need your feedback. We've changed the format of episodes this year, so the feedback episodes are less frequent, but we still want your feedback. And we are also going to cover news in the feedback episode at the start of that. And so this feedback episode's news topic will be Vic Mignogna. So if you have anything to say about that, you can also leave us a voicemail at 762-ADEQUATE. That's 762-233-7828, or you can email us at podcast@animecons.tv. And I'm sure a lot of people have a lot to say about that. We're just reporting the news, and we, depending on the amount of feedback, we may have to pick and choose some responses, but we'll take a sampling of what we get. And look forward to that, and that's next week, so we'll see you then. Bye.